Player says I should find someone to eat with. I can't get that note out of my head. The girl who died and the innocent with her. What could it mean? And who wrote it? Lower Abbey. Marguerite. Marguerite says Master Mailer. Player says yes, it's me, sister. Marguerite says, do you think Brother Pierrot really murdered the Baron? Option 1 of 2 and O. Of course not. Option 2 of 2 DOU. Marguerite says I don't know what to think. Father Abbot says that the devil sometimes enters men and makes them do terrible things. Option 1 of 2 I don't think the devil entered Brother Pierrot. Option 2 of 2 that is an excuse Father Gernot is using to justify his fear. Marguerite says, do you think the devil could appear here at Kiersa? Option 1 of 3 if the devil could appear to Christ at Gethsemane, he can appear to us anywhere. Option 2 of 3 yes, I suppose. Why? Option 3 of 3 no. I think people see the devil where they want to see him. Option 2 of 3 yes, I suppose. Why? Marguerite says I didn't see the devil, but I think I smelled his odor. Last night, I woke before matins and I smelled something in our dormitory. It was strange. Moss and sulfur mixed with frankincense and roses. It moved through the room. I wanted to scream, but I was too frightened. And then it was gone. I'm ashamed that I didn't cry out, but I didn't know what to do. Option 1 of 2 I don't know that I would have done any better, sister. Option 2 of 2 did any of the other sisters smell it? Option 1 of 2 I don't know that I would have done any better, sister. Marguerite says that's small comfort, but thank you. Player says thank you, Sister Marguerite. Marguerite says God bless you, Master Mailer. Lower Abbey. Pet Firstchen. Pet Firstchen. Lower Abbey. Lady Salomia. Lady Salomia says Master Mailer. Would you care to share supper at my table? I would like to talk to you about my late husband. Option 1 of 2 of course. Please, lead the way. Lady Salomia says thank you. Please, sit. Lady Salomia says bless us, O Lord, and these, your gifts, which we are about to receive from your bounty. Through Christ, our Lord, Amen. Player says Amen. Lady Salomia says I find myself rather out of place here, without the comfort of the Baron. Thank you for agreeing to share a meal with me, Master Mailer. Player says of course. The honor is mine. Option 1 of 3 you must have been staying nearby to arrive here so quickly. Option 2 of 3 it is a terrible thing, what happened to the Baron? Option 3 of 3 I must admit, I'm surprised you wished to speak with me. Lady Salomia says Lawrence did not make friends easily. He was a strong-headed man, with staunch beliefs he didn't shrink to share. When I was told he'd found some manner of friendship with an artist, well, I was curious. It comforts me to know he found fellowship here at this most unusual abbey. Not that there is much comfort to be found in these cold and dreary alpine towns. Lawrence and I had meant to take a tour of them before returning home to Worms, but, well, return we shall. Option 1 of 3 I am sorry for your loss, my lady. Option 2 of 3 but not as you'd hoped. Option 3 of 3 say nothing. Option 1 of 3 I am sorry for your loss, my lady. Lady Salomia says this sorrow is just the first of many, I'm afraid. Are you married yourself, Master Mailer? Option 1 of 2 a woman waits for me in Nuremberg. When I finish my work here, we will be wed. Option 2 of 2 no, and truth be told, I'm not looking forward to the prospect. Option 1 of 2 a woman waits for me in Nuremberg. When I finish my work here, we will be wed. Lady Salomia says do you not look forward to the responsibilities of marriage, Master Mailer? Perhaps it's no surprise you and Lawrence became fast friends. I imagine he saw something of himself in you. Oh, my. He even gave you one of his pins. He must have been quite fond of you. Option 1 of 3. Do you mean to say you knew of his excursions? Option 2 of 3. Rarely have I met someone with such a depth of knowledge and a thirst for debate. Option 3 of 3. I hope I should meet a more peaceful end than he did. Option 1 of 3. Do you mean to say you knew of his excursions? Lady Salomia says, Master Mailer, very little of a husband is mysterious to his wife, no matter what he may fool himself into believing. Lawrence was a flawed man. His various infidelities were no secret to me. But are we not all flawed before Christ? I loved him as a wife should properly love her husband. But I would not say that we were friends. I only hope his appetites are not what lead him to this end. Player says, I've been searching for the answer to that quandary myself. Lady Salomia says, were you and Lawrence so close that you would trouble yourself so? Option 1 of 2. My motivation is personal. Option 2 of 2. I fear the abbot, and the archdeacon, will be led to inaccurate conclusions by circumstantial evidence. Option 2 of 2. But the situation is more complex than it appears. Option 1 of 2. My mentor, Brother Pierrot, was found with the Baron's body, but I do not believe he killed your husband. Lady Salomia says, if not him, then who? Option 1 of 2. There are many possibilities, both here at the Abbey and in town. Option 2 of 2. I don't wish to speak out of turn. Option 1 of 2. There are many possibilities, both here at the Abbey and in town. Player says, your husband managed to cultivate many enemies in his short time here. Lady Salomia says, that does sound like Lawrence. He was a man of many opinions, and he gave them freely, to all who would listen, and some who would not. The previous abbot, Father Matthias, seemed to appreciate that about him. This new abbot is, perhaps, more conservative. Option 1 of 2. Father Matthias was an open-minded man, from all I've heard. A true scholar. Option 2 of 2. Father Gernot inherited a challenging fiscal situation from the late Father Matthias. Option 1 of 2. Father Matthias was an open-minded man, from all I've heard. A true scholar. Player says, Father Gernot doesn't share Matthias' passion for the written word, yet endures the expense of it. Lady Salomia says, to be put in such a position would make any man unhappy. I understand. I wonder what he will make of Lawrence's gift to the Abbey. Option 1 of 2. What gift was this? Option 2 of 2. Wait for her to continue. Option 1 of 2. What gift was this? Lady Salomia says, it seemed to be a little thing, of more interest and value to my husband and the former abbot than Father Gernot. He had found a book about the history of Tassing. He believed it contained some scandalous details. He said it corroborated fears Father Matthias had expressed, but he didn't share the particulars with me. Option 1 of 2. Do you have a sense of what the scandals involved? Option 2 of 2. Did you know Father Matthias yourself? Option 1 of 2. Do you have a sense of what the scandals involved? Lady Salomia says, beyond the broad basket of Tassing's history, I cannot say. My understanding is that this community is quite old. I'm sorry I can't be of more help. I have some education, but I lack my husband's thirst for knowledge. If you find the book, hopefully its significance will be apparent. Option 1 of 2. If God wills it. Option 2 of 2. Nod solemnly. Option 1 of 2. If God wills it. Option 2 of 2. Willu. Option 1 of 2. Do you plan to stay in Tassing long? Option 2 of 2. Willu be returning home to Worms soon? Option 1 of 2. Do you plan to stay in Tassing long? Lady Salomia says, only so long as it takes the archdeacon to investigate my husband's murder. Though the circumstances of my time here are dire, I'm in no hurry to return. Option 1 of 2. Why is that, if I may ask? Option 2 of 2. Wait for her to continue. Lady Salomia says, you are a disarming man, Master Mailer, and much too easy to talk to. To be frank, I do not know what will become of me when I return to Worms. My title and residence may be in jeopardy. Lawrence and I have a son, but he is young yet. I don't know many of the legalities, only that my position is at some risk. Option 1 of 2. You re in a difficult position, my lady. I will pray for your happiness. Option 2 of 2 I suspect you'll survive just fine. Option 1 of 2 you re in a difficult position, my lady. I will pray for your happiness. Lady Salomia says as will I, Master Mailer. Lady Salomia says I am sorry to cut our conversation short, but I fear I must rest. Option 1 of 2 thank you for having me at your table. Option 2 of 2 of course. You've had a long day. Option 1 of 2 thank you for having me at your table. Lady Salomia says be well, Master Mailer, and whatever anyone says of my husband, I'm certain he appreciated your friendship. Lady Salomia. Player says I should get some sleep, or break into the library. Lady Salomia says hello, Master Mailer. Lower Abbey. Mill. Forest, mill. Church and Doors. Mill, Friends Tower and Mill, House, Central Town Commons. Zimmerman House. Yawn Farm. Yawn Farm. Gurdon Farm. Gurdon House. Gurdon House. Gurdon Guest Room. Go to bed. Player says it's getting late. I should get some rest. Option 1 of 2 go to sleep. Ursula says Andrew. Option 1 of 2 God more. Player says oh, it's not morning. Ursula says. Player says it's the middle of the night, Ursula. Option 1 of 2 What are you doing up here? Option 2 of 2 How did you get out of bed? Ursula says. Stf. Player says I see. Ursula says haha. Player says would you like me to tell you a story? Would that help you sleep? Ursula says Option 1 of 2 How about the black cockerel that terrorized a city with a single egg? Option 2 of 2 Let me tell you the story of the little girl who haunted the sleepy artist. Option 1 of 2 How about the black cockerel that terrorized a city with a single egg? Ursula says. Player says you know how your brother, Big Jurg, keeps his hens to lay eggs? Well, in the city of Basel, there was a black cockerel that didn't belong to anyone. It just strutted up and down the streets and scared little boys and girls, pecking at them when they got too close. Ursula says. Player says cockerels can't lay eggs, but this one did, right in the middle of town. And the people were scared, because that could only mean one thing. The cockerel had laid a basilisk egg. The basilisk is half cockerel, half snake. Everything it touches, or even looks at, withers and dies. The wealthy people of Basel used mirrors so they didn't have to look directly at the cockerel. And they tried to reach the egg before it could hatch. But no matter how they tried to get to the egg, the cockerel pecked at them and beat them back. When the basilisk finally hatched, the people prayed to God for salvation. And within the hour, a knight with a shining shield rode up. Ursula says goofball. Player says and that's why basilisk statues are all over Basel. Go to bed. Time to get back to work. Ursula says and we are and we are Gurdon Farm. Eva says we don't have using us. Envious. Thera. Eva. Gurdon Farm. Dear. Eva says envious. Gurdon House. Big Deer. Gurdon Deer. Ilk Deer. Ilk Deer says God bless you. Yawn Farm. Town Hans. Hans says hey, Andreas. Player says how's it going, Hans? Keeping busy in the fields? Hans says I guess. Player says. Do you like it? Hans says what? Player says farming. Hans says I never really thought about it. Dad says it has to get done whether I like it or not. Player says what do you think about, then? Hans says. Uncle France said Brigitte might come help with the laundry today. Player says she's Martin's wife, right? She seems nice. Hans says she is. Nicer than Veronica, anyway. I wish Brigitte lived here instead of her. Option 1 of 2 WELL, you have a good time thinking about your cousin's wife. Option 2 of 2 say nothing. Option 1 of 2 WELL, you have a good time thinking about your cousin's wife. Hans says what? Player says until later, Hans. Hans says bye. Hans. Johann. Johann says Andreas. Was just wondering when you'd turn up. The gaggle said you'd come to watch them spin. Between you and me, Hetty's not about to let you go once she's got you in her claws. So I hope you've got a few hours to hunker down and get comfortable. Option 1 of 2 I am happy to spare a few hours. Option 2 of 2 I don't have the time just now. Maybe another day. Johann says I'm not about to twist your arm, young Master Mailer, but you be sure to come round before Sunday. Brigitte. Brigitte says I would wish you a good day, Andreas, but I fear that would be a lie. Option 1 of 2 The Baron Rothvogel was murdered at the Abbey, have you heard? Option 2 of 2 Has something happened? Brigitte says Martin's gone missing. Caught is beside herself. Option 1 of 3 I saw him fleeing the Abbey Thursday morning, right after Baron Rothvogel was murdered. Option 2 of 3 But not you? Option 3 of 3 I am sorry to hear it. Do you know where he's gone? Brigitte says I'm sorry, I don't. Caught might know, he speaks more to her than he does to me, even though I am his wife. I'm sorry. They've always been close. They've had to be, to endure, well. Option 1 of 3 To endure France. Option 2 of 3 Perhaps I should speak to Cot, then. Option 3 of 3 Maybe France could tell me more. Option 1 of 3 To endure France. Brigitte says how did you know? Player says you haven't said a word about him. That absence is telling in its own way. Brigitte says France is a difficult man, and very hard on Martin. It's made him difficult, too. Player says so difficult that he could commit a murder? Brigitte says no. No. There is a storm cloud over Martin, but it rains only on him. He would never hurt someone. I can't imagine it. What are you talking about? Player says lie, it's nothing. An idle question. I'm sorry to have disturbed you. Brigitte says I should probably get back to my chores. France will be angry if he sees me shirking or talking to an unmarried man. Option 1 of 2 Of course. God willing, Martin will come home soon. Option 2 of 2 Until later, then. Option 1 of 2 Of course. God willing, Martin will come home soon. Brigitte says he will. I must trust in Providence. Be well, Andreas. Player says be well, Brigitte. France, Andreas, Brigitte, Cot. Cot says hello, Master Mailer. I'm sorry to cause you trouble, but have you seen Martin recently? He wasn't feeling well, so I let him sleep until prime, but when I came to check on him, he was gone. Option 1 of 2 I saw him Thursday morning. Player says I did see Martin running through the meadow, but this is a delicate situation, and I'm not sure how I should handle it. Option 1 of 2 I didn't get a chance to speak with him, and I don't know what he was up to. Option 2 of 2 The boy is clearly trouble. The people in town do not think well of him. Option 1 of 2 I didn't get a chance to speak with him, and I don't know what he was up to. Player says it could be entirely innocent. But if I tell Cot that I saw him fleeing the Abbey. Option 1 of 2 She might think her son killed Lawrence. Option 2 of 2 She might think I think her son killed Lawrence. Option 1 of 2 that could cause her undue stress. Option 2 of 2 I don't want to get embroiled in their problems. Option 1 of 2 that could cause her undue stress. Option 1, Option 2, Option 1 of 2 it probably wasn't even Martin who did it. Option 2 of 2 even if it was Martin who killed Lawrence. I don't know where he's gone now, anyway. Option 1 of 2 it probably wasn't even Martin who did it. Option 1 of 3 he doesn't strike me as the murdering type. Option 2 of 3 still. Cot deserves my honesty. Option 3 of 3 damn it. I wish I'd never seen him. Option 1 of 3 he doesn't strike me as the murdering type. Option 1 of 2 still. Cot deserves my honesty. Option 2 of 2 lie I'm sorry, Cot. I haven't seen him. Option 1 of 2 I saw him Thursday morning. Player says he ran through the meadow while I was on my way to the Abbey at Prime. Cot says but, he said he was sick. And what was he doing in the meadow? He hardly ever goes out there. It always makes him sneeze. Option 1 of 2 he seemed to be running from the Abbey. Option 2 of 2 lie I don't know. I'm sorry. Cot says Lord have mercy. I hope he doesn't done something rash. He has a history of making poor decisions. Player says how do you mean? Cot says he steals things. Bread from the Albans. Eggs from Johan's and Peter's farms. A pilgrim's satchel, once, on the road to the Abbey. It is my great shame. I have failed him as a mother. I'm sorry. This is not your trouble. Thank you for speaking to me. Option 1 of 3 was there something else? Option 2 of 3 anytime, Cot. Option 3 of 3 not regretfully. Option 1 of 3 was there something else? Cot says I don't want to impose. But, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, please let me know if you see Martin. I'm so worried for him. Option 1 of 2 of course, Cot. Option 2 of 2 I'll try. Option 1 of 2 of course, Cot. Cot says thank you, Master Mailer. Be well. Werner. Werner says hello. You're the, artist? From Nuremberg. Option 1 of 2 Andreas Mailer, journeyman artist, at your service. Option 2 of 2 you've heard of me already, Dr. Stalls? Werner says someone mentioned you dabbled at university for a year or two. Funny. You're staying with the Gerdners, yes? The Abbey does have a guest house, you know. Option 1 of 3 the Gerdners are good and gracious people. Option 2 of 3 I'd rather stay in town. The Abbey is too rigid for my tastes. Option 3 of 3 perhaps if I were a master. The Gerdners' guest bedroom better suits my finances. Option 1 of 3 the Gerdners are good and gracious people. Werner says fur farmers. Tassing is full of miserable people like them. Option 1 of 4 what are you doing here, then? Option 2 of 4 everyone's been kind enough to me. Option 3 of 4 what's your problem with the farmers? Option 4 of 4 they seem to be a hard-working and honest people to me. Option 2 of 4 everyone's been kind enough to me. Werner says you haven't done anything to cross them yet. If you do, well, you'll see what I mean. They expect me to perform miracles, but I'm not a saint. The rest of the townsfolk, well, there can't be more than a handful of them who know how to spell their own names. Father Gernot is too soft with them, but I suppose he has to keep them placated or risk riots on his land. Fortunately, I do not intend to stay in Tassing long. Option 1 of 2 what are you planning to go instead? Option 2 of 2 I am sure the townspeople would be heartbroken to see you go. Option 1 of 2 what are you planning to go instead? Werner says Innsbruck might be worth my time. I recommend you don't linger here either, Mailer, or you'll soon find yourself trapped in a marriage to a mouse-faced girl with dirt under her nails. Option 1 of 2 a daily risk for you, I'm sure. Option 2 of 2 alas, there's already a woman waiting for me in Nuremberg. Option 1 of 2 a daily risk for you, I'm sure. Werner says I'm a successful, educated doctor, Mailer. I can't be too careful. In any case, I must ask you to go. I have plenty of work to do. Good day. Option 1 of 3 before I go, could you answer a question for me? Option 2 of 3 until later, Dr. Stalls. Option 3 of 3 it has been a pleasure, I suppose. Option 1 of 3 before I go, could you answer a question for me? Werner says what? Player says do you know how the elements relate to the astrological signs? Werner says. Are you serious? Option 1 of 2 deadly serious. Option 2 of 2 glare silently. Option 1 of 2 deadly serious. Werner says it's very simple. Even someone with a bachelor's degree should be able to understand. Each astrological sign is ruled by one of the 4 elements. Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius are fire signs. Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces are water. Air rules over Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And now let's see the power of your trivium education. What signs can you infer are ruled by Earth? Option 1 of 2 Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Option 2 of 2 Thanks. I figured it out, asshole. Option 1 of 2 Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Werner says good, now leave and never return. Here ends the lesson, Master Mailer. Stahl's house, Werner. Hello, Mailer. Stahl's house.